How's it going, everybody? So, um, funny little story for you, and I'll try to make it quick because everybody's got a short attention span. Um, on the 14th of April, 2025, I stumbled upon this song by Suntan called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen. And somehow, I have no idea how, I have missed this song for 25 years. Um, 26 years because it came out in 99. Um, and I've been a huge advocate for self-help books and therapy and anything that is going to help you help yourself. I find it critically important to self-develop and to figure your own self out and your own direction and your own kind of path in life because we only get one spin around this planet and we're trying to make the most of it, and this is just an amazing song. If you guys have a chance, please listen to it. I don't know how 90s on 9 played this version by Suntan because I've looked for it. I found the original artist. His name is Baz something or other. I'll have to find that for you. But um, it is astonishing. And I'm just going to go over it with you. And it's just so bizarre because it starts off with a monotoned announcer in a situation where he's at a graduation for either college or high school, probably college because it's usually where you give that speech, to the graduating class. So it's the graduating class of 99, and ladies and gentlemen, the class of 99, um, 97. Okay, so actually older than I thought. How about that? Um, his advice is to wear sunscreen. If I could offer you one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. Benefits of sunscreen have been proven by scientists, or where the rest of it, my advice is no basis more reliable than my own meandering. And God, isn't that true? Experiences I will dispense. This is advice now. Um, Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. And he goes on to be like, oh, never mind. It's amazingly true. As we get older, we look back on these rose colored glasses and we don't appreciate or realize or remotely comprehend what we have in our youth. Um, Even one of the quotes that he says very shortly is, you look back at photographs and you were never as fat as you thought you were. That's hysterical because it's so accurate. Individuals, all individuals, tall, short, thin, not so thin, we all struggle with some sort of like body dysmorphic issue. People out there are cruel, they're insensitive, they want to belittle other individuals because they want their own self image or their own self reflection to be better than what another person's is. So even if a person is gorgeous and beautiful, they'll be made fun of or belittled or condescended on to make feel insignificant or unfortunately unattractive. And that's just cruelty because someone else is insecure and projecting that stupidity onto somebody else. And it's regretful, it's disturbing, but it's unfortunately the way of our society, and it's the way we happen to like unfortunately be as creatures, which is a shame because every single one of us is beautiful inside and out, regardless of, facial scars or whatever the case may be. It it's we are unique, we are one of a kind, and those scars and those, blemishes and those crazy eyebrows or the flaring nostrils all make us so special because that's the one in how many billion are on this planet. So that's a great, great topic that he talks about. Um, your looks have faded, but trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. and you're not as fat as you thought you were. So it's again, it's one of those it's one of those phenomenon where you have even now, like so you can stop and think about it now because like you don't even have to look backwards. You can take the here and now and appreciate it and understand going forward that times will change, figures will change, weights will fluctuate, wrinkles will come more and more as time marches on. That's inevitable. There are solutions if that's what you feel you need to do. Kudos, more power to you for rocking and rolling. Uh, I'm going to try to age as gracefully as possible. Plenty of suntan lotion. Funny enough that he mentioned it. I'm going to make sure that whatever happens happens, but I will not regret a single smile line that I have because I've earned every single one of them. They are mine to cherish and love and appreciate. So that's a definitive. I'm going to definitely stick with that. Um, the best one here is, know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. Absolutely. It's genius explanation. So, so smart, but so tough to wrap your mind around. I implore you, I will never do this justice. I will talk until I turn every single shade of purple, but what happens is this song is every single self-help and self-guidance and self-propulsion you could possibly have jammed into a 7-minute song. And it's so funny that it takes a bajillion hours to go from the head to the heart because they're only this far away. So somewhere here, right? I can't show you because it's off camera, but my heart's there somewhere. My skull's up here. That information, it takes centuries to get from destination to destination. It was one of those phenomenon where something in my life had occurred and this song came on like literally out of the blue, and it just so happened that again, Sirius XM radio, gotta love it, appreciate it more than I ever could realize, was happening to be playing this. I was traveling home from the gym from North Haven to Bristol, and sure enough, this stupid song came on, and I sent it to my buddy Nick. I'm like, Nick, have you ever heard this song? And he sent me a completely different song. He's like, yeah, it was in my club days. I'm like, this is not a club song. And if it were, the club would just fall over sleeping. Um, but it's again so funny that there are other songs that are like this. Everybody's free. Great title, simple, 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 but that it's done by a different band with a techno beat and nothing to do with self-help or self-discovery or self-appreciation. So it's very, very amazing in that regards. But it worrying is one of those phenomenon that it just you can't do anything about it. You can't. It's it, we all know it. It's emotional. We are human beings. We are people. But, you know, y- all that energy, all that intensity, all that focus, focused on something that you cannot change, cannot affect, cannot, you just have to let it rip. Like, whatever it is, you know, obviously, I'm not ever going to explain to someone to just like blindly go at something. There's a difference between being prepared and worrying about inevitability. Is the sky going to fall? Is the stock market going to crash? Is the housing market going to flip upside down and, houses are going to be worthless? These are all things that you have no control over. You can make as best of an educated guess as you can, and you just let happen whatever happen. So if you're jumping into the housing market, if you're jumping into the stock market, if you're jumping into whatever, you're just getting as educated as you can and letting it fly. Worrying will do you nothing besides probably give you an upset stomach, probably make you a real pain in the ass to be sitting around because you're never going to be like a positive, enthusiastic. You're always going to be like intense, worrying, and anxious, and that's such a disastrous way to live. It's so many other happy, healthy, hopeful options, and that's just not great. It's just robbing you of energy. So the real deal, like you're saying, the real troubles in your life will be things that will never cross your mind, and they'll literally blindside you on a 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. So don't get too like hooked up in the mix. It's there's so much going on in the world today, and there's so much distraction between the news and social media and everything that you can just get completely turned around and either become like a patriotic enthusiast where you're going to arm yourself to the teeth and sit on your front porch waving your flag and standing up for your rights and whatnot, or you're going to completely be a turtle, throw sandbags like up to your second story window in your house and shun away from the entire world, making sure that you're just not a part of society. So, you know, don't don't stop living in the now. Don't stop appreciating what's going on, from thunderstorms to windy days to sunny days to snowy days. All of them are a opportunity to enjoy something of some sort. This last couple of weeks in April have been absolutely glorious. It's been pretty windy, but let me tell you, doing a 3 or 4 mile hike out in the mountaintop, the wind is really appreciated. So it doesn't matter that it's windy, because as you're hiking and moving along, that wind is really enjoyable. It's one of those like thankful like that it's there. Um, every day is a great day. You just have to look for the greatness in that day. I'm just being a part of this whole song, so that's all there is to it. To do something that scares you, I mean, that could be anything. Like scaring you could be like, taking out a frying pan, or like cooking in the oven, or, opening again, same idea, opening up social media, like getting onto Instagram or getting onto Twitter or X or whatever they call it. Um, I have the opportunity to be at the gym 5 days a week. So for me, it's one of those great things. The only thing is they play news on four of the televisions, and it is the most like heinous thing in the world, because it's either somebody arguing about the politics, or there's somebody arguing about like local like events that are happening, and it's like, holy cow, like it is. That alone scares me, because it's like, again, we have this like wrong focus on life. It everyone's like, I'm not going to try to be political, because it's none of my business and I'm not educated enough to know any of it. But they're talking about, Trump a lot in the news. And to me, it doesn't matter, because he's not a one man gang. There's an entire group of individuals that are with him, coaxing him, guiding him. So unfortunately, yes, the buck stops at him, and he's the figurehead that everyone is like looking at and has the attention of the world. But there's supposed to be, and this is my only like part of this topic, there's supposed to be a implementation of individuals, like chain of command. And if they're all talking to him, yes, he's supposed to discern the difference between good and bad information, and good choices, bad choices, and whatnot. But it's our system that seems to be where opportunities could be provided, that individuals are supposed to be doing good for us, the people. They are supposed to be civil servants, meaning that they work for the people. However, every one of their bank accounts completely say that they work for themselves, and they don't have a concern in the world compared to the normal human being, worrying about their cable bill, worrying about their car payment, trying to figure out whether or not they're going to be able to make the mortgage, this month. It's regretful, it's heinous, it's just people being people. They're looking out for themselves, so everyone else has to look out for themselves too. It's just common sense, and I know common sense isn't common, but that's it. Um, Here's the huge one. This one really struck me. I didn't even think about it when I saw it, but holy moly. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. What a simple and direct statement. The next part of it is don't allow people that are reckless with yours to be a part of your life. Um, so true. So powerful. I could probably do a video on each one of these lines, and I probably should do a video on each one of these lines. I should probably cut this down and shut my mouth and just let it all rip through and kind of like do bullet points, like high level points. But man, it, it's so wild that again, we live in a world where we have limited time. We are on a clock. Nobody gets out alive. Van Wilder said it the best. Thanks, Ryan Reynolds, for making such a silly but great movie. It's true. We are all living with an expiration date. And it's there's no reason to take advantage of somebody, be inconsiderate to somebody, be heinous with somebody's heart. And same idea. If you're in a situation where someone is abusive to you verbally, emotionally, anything like that, you are better than that. You deserve the best, and that should not be tolerated. I understand that we make quantifications, we make justifications, we say things to make it all right, but it's not all right. You, whoever you are, deserve the best in your life, whatever that is. So, don't allow someone to trump on you and don't trump on anybody else because that's just grisly, not good. So, and don't forget to floss. It's simple things. It's like they throw these like nuggets of wisdom in, and then they pop in like the humorous like, um, you know, don't forget to floss. Like, I hope to God that that's it. Um, don't waste your time on jealousy. Holy moly, God, I wish I learned this years ago. Working for Best Buy for 17 years, I was the Joneses. I had the latest television set. I had the latest phone. I had the latest stereo equipment. Whatever DVD was out on the market, I was buying it. If I could show you, maybe I can actually, um, somewhere. Hang on. Let me just hang on. All right. So unfortunately, that's the way of the All right, so unfortunately, that's the way of the world. That's what it's going to be. It's not the greatest picture in the world, but it was right before I actually stopped working at Best Buy, and those are the figures. Uh, Total retail $89,000. Total price paid $59,000, almost $60,000 really. So I used at least 2 years of my net income to just be the greatest nobody when it comes to Best Buy. So that's that's the jealousy thing. Holy mackerel! It says it right here. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, and at the end of the day, the race is long, and the race is only against yourself. Like there is nobody else. It's it's just you versus you, and unfortunately we get in our heads way too much thinking that the next door neighbor gives a rat's ass about us. It doesn't matter. It's just we're stuck in our own heads, and holy mackerel, is it a battlefield up there. And just what a hilarious thing to say, and what a hilarious thing to like be a part of, and just it's wild. But I'll be right back. Yeah, all right. So back to the race. Um, Remember the compliments you receive. It's there are very few windows of truth out there, but I do believe when someone says you have a great smile, or man, your eyes are blue or brown or green or black or whatever eye color you have. It's one of those moments where someone is just being genuine and they really mean what they say, and it just comes through as pure. This is, take it as it is. Don't take anything over it. Just accept whatever the appreciation is. You know, you've got great fingernails. You've got fantastic calves. Who knows? I know that, feet are a big thing lately, but never understood that. But whatever. I'll keep moving on from that. Um, Forget the insults. And if you succeed in doing that, please let everybody know how, because it seems like the compliments are the things that get forgotten and the insults just stick like glue. Your nose is too big, your eyes are crossed, or they're lopsided, or you look like Rocky Balboa, or, your hairline looks like it's the Indians retreating from the cowboys. Um, you know, One arm is shorter than the other. Who knows? Whatever the case may be. It just seems like the negative is always concreted. The positive is like a fog and just blown away as soon as there's a breeze, or as soon as the sun comes out, it just dissipates and it's gone. Like, it's nowhere to be seen. But yeah, remember the compliments. Understand that those are reality. The the insults are just somebody's jealousy, somebody's shortcomings, somebody's feelings of inadequacy or inimportance. They're just trying to make themselves feel better because they don't feel good, and they're taking it out on you because whoever you are, you're a target, and they want to feel better about themselves, where something that you have is something that they want, and they're just grasping for it, and that's just unfortunate and just terrible. But yeah, um, keep your old love letters. Oh my goodness, man, I am guilty of, unfortunately, ditching them. Um, when I moved from my parents' house to my condominium in 2004, everything, drawings, artwork, sculptures, woodworking, every piece of creativity that I had had that wasn't in like a sketchbook sized platform, I unfortunately tossed in the garbage. And so there are hundreds of pictures that I drew during my high school time, which I probably should have been actually paying attention in high school. But whatever, like that's a topic coming up in the later part of the video, which is even more hilarious that they even have that as a subject matter. But yeah, unfortunately, all most of my artwork unfortunately went to the trash, and so did my love letters. And not that there were a lot of them, but I could fill up two shoe boxes, which is, to me, not too shabby. Like, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, for some reason, the closed captioning didn't quite get it. It's throw away your old bank statements. That that's just good advice, whichever way you look at it. You know, the bank statements, things like that, are gonna drive you up a wall. Same ideas they talked about before. Sometimes they're up, sometimes you're down. The race is long, but it's only against yourself. There's going to be times where car repairs occur. Roofing requires to be redone. I don't know, the basement floods and you got to get a team in there to demold it and protect it versus, letting it turn into like a science project. Or everything's great, everything's fantastic, and you're skyrocketing. You've got numbers in your bank account that you've never had before, and you are so happy and enthusiastic. But there's going to be a time where four flat tires happen. you know, a meteorite falls onto your ceiling and you have to redo the ceiling and the second floor because it passed through both. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, your lawn mower, all four tires fall off and the engine blows up. Like, luckily you weren't riding it; it just magically blew up without you being around it. Um, it's just the fact of life. It's just the way things happen. It's just luck, good luck, bad luck, indifferent. It's just, again, there's good days, there's bad days, but there's just, all in all, they're just days. So, um, yeah, stretch. Um, there it is. don't feel like stretches is like stretch. Like we all know it. We're all sedentary. We all sit around kind of just enjoying life a little too luxuriously. Everybody from like the 1920s and the 40s wanted to do better for the kids. So like we just got sedentary and lazy and lethargic, and it's everywhere. You can see it everywhere you go. The grocery store, the mall, if the malls even exist anymore, most of them are closing down. We don't move like we used to. We are very, very complacent. We are very, very like emotionally drained, like physically, emotionally, mentally drained. A lot of us are working in work that we don't necessarily feel joy or completion out of. We're doing it because it pays the bills and it gets the bill collectors off our back. The mortgage gets paid, the groceries get bought, the gas gets filled in the car. So we're doing what we need to do to get by, but we may not really want to like do what we're doing. However, it's, you know, yeah, it, this speaks so highly to that. If you don't know what you want to do with your life, it's the most interesting people that I know didn't know what they wanted at 22 to do with their lives, and so the most interesting 40-year-olds still don't know what they want to do. It's one of those phenomenon where you know it's not everybody gets a calling. Never, not everybody gets like a direction. Not everybody gets a purpose in life to be a firefighter, an astronaut, a scuba diver. Like, and that's okay. Like, there are great things out there that'll keep you preoccupied and busy and you know be a part of society and be a part of the world and be a part of without feeling like you're enslaved, feeling like you are in a system that you are just beaten down. You dread going in, things like that. Don't settle for that. Try to find something you can get, that you can tolerate and appreciate without feeling like it's just terrible, terrible, terrible. Calcium. These are just the funny ones are funny. Like it's just the stupid little ones that they throw in like to break up like the density of it. Because you could listen to the song a billion times, and I'm probably gonna listen to it a billion times, and it just so much is a part of it. Like you just need to listen. Like you just need to be in there, and I can't do it justice. Like even me talking about it, like there's so much that I could like dissect and interpret and be a part of with it, every single sentence that this guy says, because again, it's such common sense, and again, it just has to get from here to here, and it's just like it doesn't ever get here. It's here, and it jumbles around in here, and it forgets to get down here. He's gonna say like, "Be good to your knees," and like you know, I thank goodness have not gotten to that phase in my life, but there is a part that he's going to come up with like very shortly, and it's very, very funny. I was, my knees are in great shape, thank God, but I can only imagine that enough, pounding on any joint, the shoulders, the neck, the back, the hips, the ankles, so on and so forth. Like I've got friends that are, going through reconstructive surgery of their knees, their ankles, and man, they are just really struggling. And I'm trying to be as positive and enthusiastic and supportive of them, but it's like, one of those things. Um, Maybe you marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have kids, maybe you won't. Um, it's maybe you'll divorce at 40, maybe you'll dance the funky chicken at 75, around your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much, or don't berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance, so are everybody else's. Um, that's monster. It's just, it's such blind luck what happens with individuals and couples. And I have zero right to talk about relationships because I have books and books and books on the shelf about them, and I've flubbed a bunch of them, and some of them were my fault, some of them weren't my fault. you know, as I get closer and closer to 50, I have to make decisions that are based upon my own, longevity and lifespan and whatnot. So it's like, it's one of those, if you found the right one, man, love him or her with everything you got, talk to them, communicate with them, work with them, figure it out. It's one of those phenomenon where you just don't know. Same idea as I discussed in the beginning of the video. We all have an expiration date. I have a very close friend who just lost their husband. Holy mackerel. Like, they were only married for a short period of time. They loved really fiercely. They loved passionately. But man, to have a loved one removed from your life that quickly is traumatic. And on the flip side of that coin, I've got my parents celebrating their 51st wedding anniversary. Kudos to them. Holy mackerel, are they hard ass workers? Those two put a lot of effort into their marriage. They are working on it daily. Communication, compromise, consideration, compassion, like all these fantastic C words that just keep on trucking. So it's just one of those phenomenon where you just have to take care of each other. You're in the foxhole, the world is against you. You just got to keep shooting everything out of the park and keep together, because unfortunately you can get overrun really easily because, again, social media, the news, like the gossip column, the stupid little person down the street that wants to like start trash because they've got nothing else better to do. So just continue to work on each other, continue to work together. So that's, something simple. This one hits home real hard. It's, enjoy your body, use it every way you can. Take that as you will. Do whatever you want with that. I didn't learn until my late 30s, early 30s, somewhere in there, somewhere in the 30s, what potential there was. Um, I was always the chubby kid growing up in high school, in middle school. I liked food. It's fantastic. You give me a bag of Doritos, I'll give you an empty bag of Doritos in no time flat. It's super easy and super effortless for me to eat food, and it's fantastic. The taste buds love every single moment of it. I, thank God, didn't get introduced until Mountain Dew until I was 18. So like that could have been real bad, because like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, if I was drinking Mountain Dew, I would probably be 100 pounds heavier. Who knows? Maybe 400 pounds heavier, whatever. It's, you know, we are incredible machines, bar none. Whatever you want to set your mind to is almost possible. I literally watched an individual get their knee replaced. Yes, the first couple days sucked. Like, were absolutely pure misery because the healing, the discomfort, so on and so forth. But once they started moving, holy hell on earth. Like an Energizer bunny just got let loose with brand new batteries, just bang, 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 bang. Like, they were allowed to take 5-minute walks every single day. That 5-minute walk was like 5 minutes of just, energy. And as the icing and the elevation and the compression and the process occurred, you just saw like it's the only thing I can think of is like a locomotive. Like when a locomotive starts off on the steel tracks, like the wheels just sit there and spin a couple times, and it's really looking for its traction. And once it hits its traction, oh my God, get out of that locomotive's way, because that thing is going to just absolutely tear down the tracks. And that's what I saw. So, however, and completely like, on the opposite side, I've seen individuals get knee replacement and have just crumbled completely, just, come like didn't do the therapy, didn't do the compression, didn't do the icing, didn't do the heat packs, didn't do the things that they're supposed to, because they were just like, oh, it's never going to get better. It's never going to get better. Well, right. You just self-fulfilling prophesied yourself. It's not going to get better. You're just, you didn't listen to the doctors. Oh my goodness, the sky is falling. Wah, wah, wah. Well, it did. It totally crumbled on you. So, you know, I can take that into my own perspective, and I, again, should kind of keep this to myself, like type of things. You know, with my heart situation, I had quadruple bypass. I had a 99% blockage on the left descending artery. That's the widowmaker. If I hadn't made it to the hospital the Thanksgiving night that I went, I probably wouldn't be making this video. Whatever. I'm here. It just goes to show you what a machine this machine is. So, use your body. I love going to the gym. That's never been a thing. I just love going to the gym now because I have the opportunity to try to make up for some like lost time. I did some damage with like again Doritos, Chips Ahoy cookies. Oh my goodness. Uh, I was drinking 12 packs of Diet Pepsi like it was going out of business. Um, but it, things have changed. I've changed, or I'm changing. So I'm trying to make up for lost time, and I'm trying to make up for bad decisions that I didn't really think were bad decisions at the time. They just were. Um, you know, it, don't don't be afraid of it, or don't or what other people think of it. No, don't give a shit about what somebody else thinks about how you look. How you look is on you. If you want to change it, change it. If you like the way you are, like the way you are. That's your choice. That's your decision. That's you. That you are who you are. You know, I think everybody deserves happiness and deserves to be complete with themselves. You know, I think the body is just the body. Just dig it, be you. Like, if you want multicolored hair, have multicolored hair. If you want to have 5 inch nails, have 5 inch nails. If you want to, have tattoos, man, let it rip. Do what you want to do to make yourself happy. Um, it's the greatest instrument you'll ever have. I think it's the greatest machine you'll ever have because instrument doesn't really compute to my mind. Machine makes much more sense because this thing is industrial, it's nonstop, it just keeps trucking until it's worn out. So use it, love it, respect it, appreciate it, and just be you. So, uh, the dance part, yeah, that's again here to here, like dance, even if you ever know to do so other than your own living room. I have two left feet that are stuck in mud. Um, if I do find Mrs. Right, I'm gonna have to take dance lessons. There's no doubt about it, because I'm gonna do the rock the boat where you hug her and you just kind of sway back and forth. Like that's gonna be our first dance. Probably not the right first dance, so I'm gonna have to go to like, Jack LaLanne or I don't know who the hell's out there, like whatever dance schools there are, because I'll have to learn because I feel awkward, I feel uncomfortable. I feel unassured of myself. So, yeah, the whole dance, if nobody's watching, yeah, unfortunately, people are going to watch. Again, get out of your own head. Um, yeah. Read the directions, even if you don't use them. This is my favorite, all time favorite. So, for years, I worked at Best Buy and I fixed their stereo equipment and I did their stuff and I, you know, made sure that their $1 million room was $1 million room. Whenever we wanted to listen to Hotel California or Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall or Pink Floyd's Money or Eric Clapton's Layla, I made sure that it was golden and it sounded miraculous. I probably flipped through the instruction manuals once and said, "How the hell do I use this?" And I just dug in and did what I needed to do, and that's all she wrote. But it doesn't hurt to look at the instruction booklet, but it also doesn't hurt to go ahead and wing it. This one's huge. Don't read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. That goes for dudes too. I have had my share of self-image issues. Um, I had long hair at one point in time. Everybody hopefully knows that. If you don't, yeah, I had hair to the back of my shoulder blades, and I thought I was like, who knows, like Sebastian Bach or uh, freaking Fabio, probably Fabio. Um, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I wanted to buck the system. I had a long mane of hair. Um, with beauty magazine, with beauty magazines, it's somebody else telling you what the standard of beauty is. I Who has the right to say that? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everyone finds something beautiful to themselves because it instills emotion, it instills a reaction from them. no one, like, the big lie is the media. The big lie is, you should be blonde, such and such height, such and such waist, such and such hip ratio. Who cares? Like, no one and that's not great for girls or for guys, because guys are supposed to have a certain, like, waistline, a certain chest thickness, and like big arms or big shoulders or big ears. Who the hell knows? Whatever. It's all manipulation. It's all to sell product to get you to be um oh goodness, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, gang. Insecure. Holy mackerel. Like, so it's all trying to dupe you into the big lie. Instagram, Twitter, everything. I'm sure TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but like any of those, like, I forgot what the hell the other one is. Snapchat. It's all marketing. Kim Kardashian made gajillions of dollars on selling a look and selling makeup and selling that's a product, and the consumer, the people, the average Joe and Jill, bought into it hook, line, and sinker. Like, it's just, uh, you know, you got to make smart decisions. You got to make what's best for you. Um, yeah, they'll only make you feel ugly. This is like a chorus, which I found really hilarious. There really shouldn't have been a chorus in this for whatever reason, but they had to obviously make it a song. So, like, this is the more musical, melodical part. It's just talking about, you know, someday, you know, you'll need another person to lean on. It's very considerate. It's very thoughtful. It's, very beautifully well sung, but it just kind of, like, it's weird because, again, so is the song. The song is very, very unusual and very unique in its own method and manner. Um, and I am terribly sorry. This video is going on for 33 minutes, but we're still going. We're almost done. I mean, it's a 7-minute song, but boy, can we stretch it out. Um, yeah. Get to know your parents. Um, you never know when they'll be gone for good. Holy smokes. Again, like, such simple words of wisdom, such simple things that are out there that you should have, like, a little bit of a concept about. But, again, the noise of reality, the noise of life, the noise of your day gets in the way of all of this thinking, like all of this simple, simple, simple thinking. Your parents are, a wealth of knowledge, hopefully. I mean, unfortunately, I know some individuals that have some tough scenarios. Obviously, it's, everything is kind of taken with a grain of salt. All of this is, again, up for interpretation because not everybody has, like, a paradisical relationship with, their mom or their dad. Unfortunately, some of my friends don't have an existing mom or dad, which is also tremendously, like, I empathetic for them, because, to lose a parent at any age is devastating. Young, old, it's just, they are always there for our benefit. Like, they're always trying to do better than what they did, and they're always in our corner. They're our best support system. They're supposed to be our best, like, individuals for advice. They're really supposed to be there to just kind of, like, make the best decisions possible. Obviously, not always the case. Um, be nice to your siblings. Oh, I am wishing I was in one of those scenarios. They're your best link to your past. Like, everyone knows me. Everyone knows my brother Tom. He is 9 years older than I am, and we are about as estranged as estranged gets. Um, I joke around that my gym partner is more of a brother to me than my actual biological brother. Um, Tom and I grew up in different households. Tom was from my mom's first marriage. Tom and I just don't get anything. we we try. I like We don't actually try. We just are oil and vinegar, oil and water, oil and something. Polar opposites. Um, and it's tough because I wish I had that relationship. I wish that I could, call them up and be like, "Hey, Tom, I got something to talk to you about," and just like word vomit. And unfortunately, Tom's not the kind of person to listen to that, and you know, uh, yeah, it's just not the way it is. But um, it's interesting. You know, understand that friends will come and go, and there's there's a few that'll hold on to work hard to bridge the gaps. You know, I am so lucky. Like the individuals in my life are just amazing, amazing, amazing people. I have been so fortunate, and it's just a great thing. This one I can't say yay or nay about. Um, live in New York once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once before and leave before it makes you soft. Um, I have my own thoughts on that. Like, you know, I'm gonna, I've lived in Connecticut my whole life, besides a small stint of time in Pennsylvania when I was younger. It's just like Connecticut 2.0. Um, my idea of, somewhere to live would be like the Bahamas or Bermuda or Caribbean, because there's just something magnetic about that to me. Travel, and accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you too will get old, and when you do, you will fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. I mean, that's just almost too much to dissect in like one statement. We always look through rose-colored glasses. We always see things as we want them to be. It just is one of those phenomenon where you know you just accept what it is and you just move on. Don't put much effort into it. So this is a big one. Don't expect anyone to support you. Maybe you have a trust fund. Maybe you have a spouse that is well in, well off financially, but at any time, either of those could run out. Like, be independent, be yourself, be self-sufficient. So, here's the favorite one of all times. Don't mess with your hair. Uh, by the time you're 40, it'll look 80. Well, yeah, nothing else needs to be said there. So, um, be careful whose advice you buy and be patient with those that supply it. One of the biggest things that I'm looking to rectify is I have never had a mentor. I've never had someone that was there in a sense to build me up. I've always self built. I don't know why. I don't know if it was scared to venture out and find someone. I don't know if it was because I was closed minded and I didn't have a very good network. That my network was just a very eclectic group of individuals, but there was no focus on my part to look for that bigger picture. Um, I was living day by day. I was Jimmy Buffying it. I don't know if that's a real word, but we're going to go with it. I was just, every day was just another day, just to live and let live. Um, so it's, eh, it's a tough situation. Um, it's a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing out the past from the disposable, wiping it off, and painting over the ugly parts and recycling it for more than it's worth. So again, you know, people have made choices in the past, people have made decisions in the past. The whole idea is to learn from it and grow from it. And again, just a miraculous piece of information, you know, just, but trust me on the sunscreen. It's so, so funny. But it's one of those phenomenon where I really, really, really hope you can watch the video, or at least listen to the song. Um, I would love to dissect this more because I think every single topic has its own like discussion to be had because it's so important. But hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you like the content. I know I was rambling. I do that. That's my gig. Hopefully, you found something useful from it, even if it was something simple, like put on sunscreen. But hopefully, you enjoyed it. Again, guys, have a wonderful time. Love you, and just hope everything, hope nothing but the best.